I'm coming out of a depression and I cannot wait to put up my Christmas tree this year.
Mr.Reddit.
I suffer from depression and have recently been coming out of it. I'll try not to make this a downer. I was cleaning my storage and came across my Christmas tree. It hasn't been up since 2019. Upon seeing it, I immediately got hyped for the upcoming holiday season, a feeling I haven't had in almost a decade. Just because my tree was up in 2019 doesn't mean I was in the spirit. I dug out my decorations, I couldn't find my tree topper. Looking at them only got me more hyped, and I'm trying to rationalize putting it up early. Normally I put it up the day after Thanksgiving, but I'm seriously considering putting them up the day after Remembrance Day. God, I just want to put them up now.
Got text dumped out of the blue by the woman I thought I'd marry this morning. Struggling isn't the word. I, 34M, met this woman, 34F, a little less than 2 years ago on Hinge. Hit it off instantly, fell hard fast, she matched everything I put in, etc. We'd gotten to the stage where we were starting to pack our places up ahead of moving in together. I'd bought a ring, and was in the process of figuring out when I'd propose, talking about kids, etc. It felt like I'd found my person, you know? She'd been a little off the last week or so, a little distant compared to normal. I did bring it up and ask what was going on, but she put it down to stress from work, and I believed her, because I love her. Made sure to give her her space, while reminding her that I loved her, and was here for her, etc. Spent the weekend together. Everything was fine, great even. Then this morning I wake up to a message saying she was done, that she does have strong feelings for me, but they're not the same feelings I have for her, and that she's not feeling a relationship anymore. Literally went from good night, I love you, I can't wait for the rest of our lives, literal copy paste from last text last night, to I'm breaking up with you in 2 messages and about 7 hours. I get it, she's obviously made her decision sometime in the last week, and if that's how she feels, that's how she feels. But the fact that she acted like everything was fine over the weekend, then did it via a Fkin text message, and didn't even give us a chance to work through it. I dunno. Worst part is this wasn't my first serious relationship, nor was it hers. I should know how to deal with this, but I don't. I'm so F-king lost right now. I don't know how to process this.
Why do people say the bar is low for men? I'm a 24 years old guy and have been in a couple of relationships, with the longest lasting a year and a half. I don't have much luck on Hinge, and working at a big company in the suburbs with 40-year-olds with families makes meeting people my age more challenging. That said, I have a healthy social life where I hang out with friends on Fridays and Saturdays. On Sundays, I use this time to work on side projects or work on my music. In my friend group, most of my friends are single. I relate to my guy friends who tell me they're either getting ghosted by women they're interested in, or they're not approaching women because it's not worth getting rejected constantly. Here's where things get confusing for me. My girlfriends that are single tell me, as a guy, you should have women lined up to date you because the bar is so low for men. They say things like, you have a good paying job, dress well, have a decent body, are good with talking to people and have hobbies that puts you way ahead of most guys. But if the bar is so low, why is dating still such a struggle for men who do meet these? Does anyone else feel this way?
I lost the love of my life, and I can only blame myself. I was in a serious relationship for 6 years. When I was 21, we met, fell in love, and started working on a life together. He went to law school, graduated, then started practicing law. We both moved away from most, if not all, family and friends. He was perfect, and still is. But I stopped being perfect. I stopped being anything. Somewhere in these 6 years, I lost my job, COVID started, and I got into the habit of never leaving the house. It started as a want, and then a need. At first, I just didn't want to go outside, and then I could not go outside. I couldn't make myself drive. I couldn't make myself do anything without my boyfriend, because I stopped working and going outside. I also stopped routinely eating, or routinely doing anything. I ate when he made food. Near the end, I even followed his sleep schedule. I was alive, but not really a human being. I was physically sick most of the time, always feeling physically bad because I was not taking care of myself at all. I don't really know how it ended up this way, but he also paid all my bills by the end, just to keep me alive, for years. To no one's surprise but mine, my boyfriend sat me down and told me he still cares about me but doesn't romantically love me anymore and is ending our relationship. I was devastated, to say the least, and immensely, very seriously suicidal. Not because my BF broke up with me, but because that was a sudden, unexpected end to my entire life as I knew it, and I truly, wholeheartedly did not see a next. At that point, I genuinely had nothing but him. Not even friends. My boyfriend warned me that I needed to get my life together. We fought about it, yet somehow it was just not enough to get me to leave the house, drive my car, do any chore, or attempt to better my life in any way. So he left me for good. He's the love of my life. Him walking away from me and telling me he doesn't love me anymore was a shock to my entire body and mind. Whatever held me inside my house felt debilitating. But pain from this event was still somehow worse. I always wanted to do better for him, but I never could make myself, and I never knew why I hated myself so much that I could essentially ruin my own life and still just watch. Now, I'm trying to pick up the pieces of what's left of my life and reflecting on the person I was. I wasn't much of a person. I don't really feel like one now. I'm trying to get back into the workforce, since I am going back on survival mode. I have a support system around me that's been very kind through the process of it all. Without them, I wouldn't have made it here. My now ex-boyfriend told me he didn't want to give me false hope, and he doesn't have faith in me that I'd finally snap and get my life together. He said he'd be paying attention to me, and he wants me to do better, but there's no future promises. I don't blame him for not wanting to date someone who doesn't function. I just wish I didn't foolishly think our love reached beyond that. I started therapy, I have job interviews scheduled, and I'm looking into more intense psychiatric help. I think I need medicine. I also think I'm running on the high from all these emotions and life changes, and I'm scared of the person I'll be when / if I crash. I want to be better. I don't want to barely exist, or exist for someone else. I feel like I'm at the end of the road, after failing everyone else, and the last person is myself.
Paid a girl to be my girlfriend, my dumbass fell in love with her. Yep, straight out of a green text meme, me, 24M, and G, 22F, had an arrangement for a number of months. We knew each other from high school, and our arrangement started with me paying her to send me pics of her body, but over time this organically as such a situation can be, developed into something more. It was clear, though neither of us ever said it out loud, that I was paying her to be my girlfriend, not just to see her body. She would talk to me throughout the day and listen to my rants, and she put in a lot of effort into getting to know me and making sure I felt supported. I'm not clueless enough to think this would have ever happened without the money, but she did genuinely start caring about me a lot. We were both very honest about the way we felt, how this little arrangement started out as something superficial, but it developed into something a bit deeper, but we were both aware that it was artificial. She was grateful for the support I gave her, and so was I. At the time I was going through some shit, and having someone like her in my corner was something I really needed. No matter her intentions, the comfort and affection she gave was exactly what I needed to keep going, and eventually I started thriving again. One time I told her about how having her in my life made me realize many good things about myself and what I want in my life. This resonated a lot with her, and she even cried out of joy. Eventually I fell mad in love with her, and it started consuming too much of my attention and became something negative. I talked to her openly about this and decided that it was best to stop doing this. She never tried to lead me on or take advantage of my feelings, and looking back we both came out a lot better from this experience. I am deeply thankful for her and what she did for me during a time I needed it. It just sucks that I now have unrealistic expectations for future relationships and will be hung up on her for a while. This post is getting a bit of attention. Some extra context: she suggested the idea of starting sending me pictures. She was in a tough spot financially. She was very transparent about this and very ashamed of it, and also it wasn't even nude pictures in the beginning. Me being down bad at the time accepted. I'd say I got to know her very well. We would talk for hours on end and got to know each other well, I'd say, given we never met in person. I soon realized she had a lot of the qualities I highly value in life. After a while in this, when we both realized I was paying for more than pics of herself, I started giving her stuff without expecting her to send me pictures. Buying her something she mentioned wanting, getting her food when she was sick, that kind of thing. She was very grateful for me doing those kinds of gestures, and I could tell it meant a lot to her. She would often write massive paragraphs about how much she appreciated me helping her out, and that nobody had ever cared about her that much. I was always wary of her manipulating me, and I did mention it. We talked it out and she was always honest, and I trusted her. Either she's such a good manipulator she somehow eased my worries about her manipulating me. Or she was being honest. I know she was being honest, her actions always matched her words. It took a while, but I did start fully trusting her. Even during weeks I wouldn't give her anything, she never seemed to talk to me less or anything. She seemed genuinely happy to talk to me and I could feel she cared about me a lot. These aren't things you can fake, as I said, at the time I was going through it. Some external BS, some self-inflicted BS. But having her eased a lot of that and even inspired me to do better for myself. Within weeks I made many positive changes in my life, and I shared that with her. She was always genuinely happy and supportive of me doing better. And she was also doing better, moving towards some big goals of her. When I shared how she had inspired me to be better and how thankful I was for her, it made her cry. She gave me a lengthy response about how much that meant to her. At this point I started to be too attached to her, and that's when it took a negative turn. I got a little too obsessed and it caused some anxiety. By this time I knew that I could talk openly to her about anything, so I shared this along with the news I wanted to stop our arrangement. She completely understood and didn't pressure me or anything. But she did share that she felt very hurt and that I could talk to her whenever I wanted, which we do sometimes. Now, only she knows how she truly feels about me, but I see her as completely genuine. Human emotions are complicated. What started as a superficial arrangement developed into something more. I told a close friend about this and she said that she feels that G actually wanted something real with me. G never said such a thing, but every once in a while she would drop hints, though I may be misinterpreting, and overall the way she talked to me and all I do get that feeling too. But deep down I know that it could never end well given it's built on a transactional foundation. Even if she wanted to, time has passed and I can look back at this with clearer eyes. Even if I try I can't possibly believe she was just using me. I've told a few people and shown them screenshots of our conversations, and they all have said she seemed genuine. I'm also aware that I don't truly know her, and that I'm even idealizing her too much. But no matter which way I slice it or how pessimistic I am, she's just an honestly very good person who had a real connection with me that was born out of a stupid reason. You may read this wall of text and feel all kinds of way towards me. But only I, and her, know what this meant to me. Things are a lot better for me and I am genuinely in a very healthy and happy spot in life now, and I don't know where I would be without having met her.
Thank you all for watching. If you are interested, subscribe and watch other videos.